So, what if the universe isn't really what it seems? What if cutting-edge physics and ancient faith aren't enemies at all? What if they're both pointing to the same kind of shocking conclusion, that our reality is less like a solid physical place and more like a really, really sophisticated video game? It's a wild idea, I know, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into. And look, this isn't just a plot for a sci-fi movie anymore. Some of the smartest people on the planet, top technologists, top physicists, are seriously talking about this. They're saying the odds that we're living in the original base reality are, well, pretty much 1 in billions.
And that's the real question, isn't it? I mean, if this whole thing is a game, it has to have rules, a source code. And if there's a code, you can learn it. So think of this as our quest to find the developer's guide to the universe. All right, first up, let's look at how two fields you'd think are total opposites, science and religion, are somehow landing on the exact same page about what's real.
It's pretty amazing when you see it side by side. On one side, you've got quantum physics telling us that, at the tiniest level, nothing's really solid. It's just a wave of possibilities that only snaps into a real thing when someone, or something, observes it. And then on the other side, for thousands of years, you've got theology saying this physical world is just an illusion, and the unseen spiritual world is what's truly real. They're using completely different language, but they're describing the exact same idea.
And the evidence that our world is, well, coded, gets even stronger. Get this. Physicists have found that the universe actually has a resolution limit. It's not smooth and infinite. It's made of tiny, indivisible bits. The smallest possible unit is called the Planck length. So if reality has pixels, that means it's fundamentally digital information. It's a construct. Okay, so if reality is code, how does the universe's, render engine actually work? What is the most fundamental rule of this game?
Well, that brings us to maybe the weirdest and most important experiment in all of physics. When scientists shoot tiny particles, electrons, at a wall with two slits without watching them, the electrons act like waves. They go through both slits at the same time. But, and this is the part that blows everyone's mind, the second they set up a detector to observe which slit the electron goes through, its behavior changes completely. It acts like a solid little ball and picks just one path. The simple act of observation literally forces reality to make a choice. This is exactly how video games work, right? A powerful gaming PC isn't wasting processing power rendering all the details of the world that's behind your character's back. That stuff only loads into existence when you turn around and look at it. The double slit experiment kind of suggests our universe does the same thing to save energy. It only bothers to render a definite reality right where a consciousness is paying attention. Which, of course, leads to the big one, the huge question. If a conscious observer is what it takes to turn possibility into reality, then who was watching the Big Bang? Who was the witness that allowed the entire universe to load for the very first time? Well, theology has an answer for that. It suggests that the universe needs a constant, primary observer just to keep it from dissolving back into pure potential. In this way of thinking, divine names like the Sustainer or the All-Seeing aren't just poetic titles. They're more like a job description. A fundamental physical function of a consciousness holding the entire cosmic simulation together. So we've talked about the pixels of reality. Now let's zoom out and look at the network architecture that connects everything, because this might finally solve that ancient paradox of destiny and free will. We've all wrestled with this one, right? If there's an all-knowing God who already knows every single choice we're ever going to make, then are our choices even real? Or are we all just actors reading lines from a script that's already been finished? The gaming analogy actually makes this so much clearer. Think of Destiny, or Qadar, not as a single straight road, but as the entire game disc. Every possible choice, every alternate timeline, every single potential ending, it's all already been coded and exists on the disc. And free will? That's you, holding the controller. You're the player, and you get to choose moment by moment which path you take through that massive, pre-existing map. And this whole network of possibilities seems to be held together by something that even made Einstein scratch his head. He called it spooky action at a distance. It's called quantum entanglement. It's when two particles become linked, and no matter how far apart they are, even on opposite sides of the universe, they instantly mirror each other. It's a connection that works faster than light, a kind of cosmic Wi-Fi connecting everything.
Now, if this cosmic network connects everything, including potentially parallel realities, it gives us some really cool ways to think about those weird experiences we all have. Like, could your dreams just be your brain picking up data streams from another version of you in a parallel world? Is déjà vu just a little network lag, a moment where your timeline perfectly resonates with another one? And what about intuition, that gut feeling? Could it be a kind of distress signal sent backward in time from a future you? It's fun to think about.
Okay, let's take this to the next level. Let's talk about what it would look like to actually master these rules. There's a famous story in Islamic tradition that, when you look at it through the lens of physics, sounds less like a miracle and more like the ultimate speedrun of the simulation, the Prophet Muhammad's night journey. Let's break down the physics of it. Stage 1. The journey starts on a vehicle called Al-Buraq. The way its movement is described sounds an awful lot like a warp drive, folding space-time to create a wormhole. Stage 2, the trip through the 7 heavens isn't a journey into outer space, but a shift through higher dimensions, what string theorists call brains. And Stage 3, the final destination is like a singularity, an event horizon where our known laws of physics just stop. But here is the most staggering, the most reality-bending piece of data from that whole event. After traveling across the cosmos, through different dimensions, right to the edge of reality itself, he came back. And on Earth, basically no time had passed. His bed was still warm. Impossible, right? Well, maybe not. Turns out Albert Einstein predicted this. It's a real, proven scientific principle called gravitational time dilation. The theory of relativity says that time literally slows down the closer you get to a massive source of energy or gravity. A clock near a black hole would tick much, much slower than a clock here on Earth. So think about what that means. He didn't just travel incredibly fast. By approaching the source of infinite energy, time from Earth's perspective slowed down so much it practically stopped. He effectively stepped outside of our timeline, had this entire cosmic experience, and then stepped back in at the exact same moment he left. He paused the game. So after all this quantum mechanics and mind-bending physics, you gotta ask, what does any of this mean for us? For you and me, right now? How do we, apply this? Well, this is where a practice like the 5 daily prayers gets a whole new meaning. Within this framework, it's not just a ritual, it's the practical application. It's the cheat code brought back from that ultimate journey. The idea is that each prayer acts like a daily sync with the server, a moment where you establish a direct connection, a little micro wormhole between your physical reality and those higher dimensions. So let's tie it all together. The universe? It's a simulation with a set of rules we call physics. Every so often, there are glitches in the system, which we call miracles. And yeah, there's a system admin, God. But here's the most important part. You are not just some background character, not an NPC. You're a player. You've been given the controller. That's your free will. And, according to this view, you've also been given the walkthrough guide to help you beat the game. So, the controller is in your hands. That infinite map of possibilities is laid out right in front of you. The choice, as always, is yours. Game on. What path are you going to choose?